Friends, fourth day of war between Russia and Ukraine. And Russian army has started entering Kharkiv, the second largest province of Ukraine after Kyiv. And probably by this evening, this state may fall. One of the reasons for this quick victory is that the people of Kharkiv, by and large, supporting Russian military, and many Ukrainian troops too have surrendered willingly or unwillingly, whichever way. That messages we are getting is not very clear from either side. Anyway, in the meantime, there has been some more informations from there that says that Ukrainian military in Kyiv and some other regions are still withholding. They are resistant and they are not ready to lay down their arms without fight. That means whatever their president Zelenskyy is saying is not totally unheard, but it is raising patriotism amongst the Ukrainian army as well as the people, wherein these guys have distributed more than 10,000 weapons among the civilians in Kyiv to fight back after the Russian military enters into that, which Russia says do not use the civilian population to mask yourself, whatever reasons may be. I am sure that reason, the people of that region, Ukraine, USSR, other countries like Russia, Belarus, each and every of them are well versed of people's resistance during Second World War and after that and even before that. As far as Zelenskyy is concerned, he has refused now further talks with Russia, peace talks which earlier he had agreed. This change of stance is not understood. Why so fast has he changed? Also, there is news that Western powers are pumping more and more weapons into Ukraine to help sustain Ukrainian military. How long will it sustain? It is not known, but they want that Russian military must bleed for this attack which they have undertaken. They have also asked their population to use Molotov cocktails. Molotov name, I am not aware whether you know or not, but he was supposed to have taken over after Stalin, except the last few years when he was disgraced from that power center, and after Khrushchev took over, he still tried along with his other comrades to take over the power and remove Khrushchev and bring back the Stalinist era to continue dictatorship of the proletarian class and building of socialism, but he failed. Well, that's past. You may hunt elsewhere to know. We are not going to talk about that. In the meantime, US and NATO has reiterated again that they will not intervene in Ukraine militarily. European Union has closed its airspace for Russian civil aviation aircraft and other things. They have discontinued Russian banks from SWIFT. You find out what does it mean. They have blocked the assets of Putin and Lavrov, the foreign minister. How much asset is there, I am not aware, but that is not important. Well, this is the present situation, latest situation. I will also add that Russia which has agreed and had stopped its military advancement for few hours, that they are ready to talk the peace with Ukrainian government. But after Ukrainian government refused, they have restarted. And they are trying to surround the capital itself. from all around. And outcome is not going to be very late, not more than 2 to 3 days. It seems that Russian military is trying to avoid the civilian casualty as much as possible. That is visible, otherwise by now the Ukrainian military would have fallen. Close to 1,000 military infrastructures have been hit by Russian army missiles, etc. And in the meantime, whatever the military power LPR and DPR have, with the help of Russian military, they are advancing in the rest of the Donbass. Yes, the resistance of Ukrainian army, not only in Kyiv but even in Mariupol, very close to Russian border, continues. Also, Lukashenko has confirmed, which we were guessing so far, that Belarus territory is being used by Russian military to move forward. And in the meantime, he has also said that they are waiting for Ukrainian delegates to come. And if they don't come, nothing can be helped. Delegates for the peace talk between Ukraine and Russia. We have already had enough talk, friends. One more thing I will like to add, that is our observation, that unlike the previous war where USA had attacked like in Iran, Afghanistan, the resistance by the people of USA, European countries, was massive. When millions of people came to the streets opposing the war. That kind of thing is not seen. It exists in Moscow, few thousands, no doubt about it, but the so-called millions of people opposing the war is not happening. That means people are realizing that the real enemy, the real villain is US empire, its military, CIA, which has created coup in Ukraine in 2014, and NATO, European Union countries. Despite the war being or having imperialist nature, it is not for revolution, it is not for people's war. It is not to establish people's democracy or proletarian class state political power in Ukraine and to rebuild socialism rather. No, it is not for that. And it is again despite all the propaganda on media, social media, by the West, by even the so-called neutral countries' media, mainstream media as well as social media, like in India. You see the anchors, the way they are shouting, screaming as if the missiles are blasting in their own backyards. Bloody hell. And this war, despite having whatever nature imperialist in character, whether Russia is forced for this war or not, whether, as I have talked earlier, imperialist America has achieved or is achieving its aim or not to neutralize and corner Russia. Even if Russian army takes over Ukraine, which is likely, very soon that will happen. That is to be seen, that is to be analyzed. And the people's struggle, resistance, not only in this region, but the world over, even in European Union especially, is further gone into the background. Imagine the Yellow Vest was a great movement a big movement of the working class in France. Not for socialist movement, but for the economic demands still. And their president, who crushed this movement, Macron, is jumping, saying that this war is illegal. Doesn't follow the norms of the world. So says UNO, which was mum when American army entered into and the NATO entered into Lebanon, Syria to limited extent, with full might inside Iraq and Afghanistan, and even in European country, Yugoslavia. Well, that's the hypocritic face of today's world, friends. Thank you.